like to feel put together, okay?
I deliberately decided not to prep any meals.
I like to call myself a kimchi connoisseur. Welcome back to my childhood bedroom.
It's not very appetizing at the moment, but
you know, why fix something that isn't broken, right? If you're watching this right now, baby, I love you so much, but I'm taking this. Okay, I don't know why I do this to myself, but it is the day before I travel and it's almost 8 p.m. It's 20 to 8 and I haven't packed anything. I've just been procrastinating packing, but I am going to start now. I just removed all of my dry laundry, partially dry laundry because English weather, from the airer, and I've put in the items that weren't fully dry into the dryer, and I'm going to start packing finally because I need to leave at 4:45 tomorrow morning, which is very, very early.
Basically, I have gone into ChatGPT and I just fed all of the info in to help me create a packing list because I'm notoriously known for overpacking. So I gave it a little bit of room to kind of like add in extras, and then what I'm probably going to do is I will probably just pack everything in, put it on my bed, and then sort of like try to fit everything into my suitcase. I'm traveling with a suitcase and a bag, so I'm going to put everything in my suitcase and see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, I'm just going to remove the items that I know that I'm not going to use. But I don't know why I do this to myself. I always leave packing to the last minute. Okay, I know that this looks a little bit messy, but we are finally done with the packing prep. I'm going to go ahead and try to fit everything in there, and I'll take you guys with me for the packing ride, if that makes sense. So I have basically packed most of my stuff. I'm gonna leave toiletries out just because I want to do my makeup tomorrow morning, even though I know that it's not like a thing to do when you're flying out that early. I like to feel put together, okay? Okay, so just arrived at the airport, and this is a little tip for anyone who travels a lot. In case you need to eat, if you always grab food at the airport, obviously fit girlies travel with meal prep, but I haven't meal prepped anything. What you can do is literally just get like a yearly priority pass and you get access to lounge and you get access to food. So basically I deliberately decided not to prep any meals so I can show you how I would normally eat when I'm traveling as, you know, that girl. So I'm going to go ahead, explore the buffet and show you guys what's available. I ended up grabbing 2 plates, a savory with some omelette rounds and baked beans for the fiber and the protein, and some yogurt with some fruit. Unfortunately, it's not fresh fruit, it's canned food, but it will do. Because what I'm usually looking for when it comes to choosing meals while I'm traveling or when I'm on the go, when I haven't prepped anything for myself, is basically how can I add as much protein into it as possible and how can I make it super filling. So basically I usually tend to, especially when I'm trying to tone up and lean out for summer, I tend to fill up half of my plate with protein and half of it with veggies, etc, etc. So this is probably just like by having, you know, by tracking for over a decade at this point, this is probably going to be about 30 to 40 grams of protein in my meal, and around, I'm counting with around 600 calories just to be a little bit more generous with it because you never know, but that is what we're going to be having. And then I'll probably grab like a cappuccino from the vending machine here because they have free cappuccino. Landed, and I'm in just a little shop to get a deodorant because I basically forgot to pack a deodorant, so I'm going to get that, grab an energy drink, probably gonna go for a Monster, and grab a big water because I'm gonna go home and I have some food in my backpack that I want to eat. So that's the plan. I just met my mum and we're gonna go home together soon.
I just got home, just finished cooking lunch, which is going to be veggies and rice and some Vivera chicken pieces, but you're going to see it in a second. And my mum actually told me that she's got some kimchi, so we are going to try it because I like to call myself a kimchi connoisseur. Ooh, and it's bubbly. So nice. Look at that. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm obsessed with kimchi, so can't wait to try it. The rice, kimchi, fake meat, veggies. The way I like to put everything together when I'm traveling specifically is basically I fill up a quarter or a third of my plate with carbs, and I fill up a third of it with protein, and then about a third, if not more, of it with veggies. So today it's going to be kimchi and some mixed veg and some rice and some Vivera chicken pieces. Welcome back to my childhood bedroom, or my young adult bedroom, because I only moved over here when I was probably around like 16 years old, 15 years old. I have just finished lunch, which was absolutely delicious, and I had a really nice conversation with my mum. Also, I accidentally forgot to bring my sort of like laptop stand, so you know, in the end, at least my degree was useful for at least one thing, which is to elevate my laptop and help me just work a little bit easier, because I need an elevation to put my hand onto. So yeah, in case you didn't know, by the way, I studied European social and political studies at uni with a specialism in law and German language. So that's why I have so many law things. I genuinely thought I was going to become a lawyer. Up until graduation, I thought I was going to become a lawyer. Anyways, work. I need to work. I'll catch you later. It is almost 6 p.m. Hungarian time, so that means almost 5 p.m. UK time, but I am literally so tired. I just checked my Oura ring and it says that I didn't sleep at all. It basically says that I basically slept. Why did I say basically twice? I'm just really tired. I basically slept 5.5 hours, which is clearly not enough because my brain is really struggling to function, and especially that is not great while you are doing client check-ins. So I'm taking it sort of like one step at a time, trying to give myself some grace. But I wanted to actually show you something. You're gonna find this so fucking like crazy and weird. I'm going to have a little snack because I need a little pick-me-up and I need to feel better about myself. So this is my 20% of the day. This is my 20% of the day, which is basically the little bit more processed stuff for the day. It is basically like powdered fruit tea. And I don't know why, like ever since I was a child, I really just loved like strong, sort of like zesty and zingy flavors. So this thing is what I'm going to be having as a little snack on its own with some water on the side, because I'm crazy like that. Honestly, some people love to have Nutella by the spoon. I like to have this. I still need to up my protein a tiny little bit in the evening, so I might have a little bit of fish, but that is going to depend on whether I'm actually hungry or not. I'm just going to snack on this, have another jug of water, because water, especially before and after flying, is super important to reduce water retention. And then I'll also film tomorrow's full day of eating, because that's going to be a little bit more regulated, a little bit more normal, so I can show you exactly like how I balance things when I'm out of my usual routines. And obviously, like when it comes to travel days, it's just a mess for everyone. Today is all about trying our best. What I am going to do is take 2 small cans of tuna. In Hungary, tuna cans are so much smaller, and I'm going to put them into this bowl and create some sort of a spread, because Mum just bakes some bread, so I want some of that. We're just gonna empty this into a bowl, and I'll show you a really easy way to make this taste good, so it doesn't taste just like tuna, but it tastes like, you know, something you would put on a bagel. Now that we've got our cat food, tuna, we are going to take some yogurt. Unfortunately, I don't have skyr at home at the moment. We are going to go get it tomorrow, but we have yogurt. So I'm gonna put a little bit in there. I really should make it as thick as possible. And then we're going to mix it. We're gonna add a couple of extra bits. A little bit of salt. Now, ideally, I would have put a little bit of pickles in it. But we don't have pickles at the moment, so we're gonna get that tomorrow. Again, we're going grocery shopping tomorrow, and that is what our usual routine is. Get here, improvise, and then next day go grocery shopping. This is kind of like how it's looking. It's not very appetizing at the moment, but as I said, like, it's not supposed to be pretty. Progress is not always pretty. You know, sometimes it is just going to be a little bit ugly, a little bit not appetizing, and that is okay. That is okay. This is literally the 10% of the time. 90% of the time, we try to make it beautiful, we try to make it pretty, so we actually love what we're seeing on our plate. It is basically full day one of me being back in Hungary, and this is where usually the magic happens when it comes to staying on track. I mean, you can definitely do this on your first like evening here, but I like to basically go for a food shop whenever I have my first sort of like full day. So I'm just going to get ready and sit down and plan things out with you and show you how to simplify just staying on track. That version of yourself is always on track. She never has to take a treat day or a cheat meal because it just doesn't exist. Treat meals, cheat days do not exist if you have the right sort of nutrition setup. And just because you're on holiday, just because you're traveling, it doesn't mean that you have to put your goals aside and basically just miss out on getting results and progressing. So basically what I like to do whenever I'm traveling is I really like to just standardize things for myself. So for example, you can do this in like any situation, in an all-inclusive, if you're in a hotel that provides breakfast, you can do this in an Airbnb. But basically choosing a meal, especially breakfast, to ground you where you don't have to make a lot of decisions, or if you know that you're going to be eating out, just choose some dishes that are going to be your go-to whenever you're ordering out. So basically make the decision for yourself before you even go out, if that makes sense. So if you're, for example, staying in an all-inclusive or a hotel with breakfast or in an Airbnb, and you know that your breakfasts are not necessarily going to be social, what you can do is just decide, okay, I'm going to have, let's say, the same breakfast or a very similar breakfast every single morning. It can be, for example, a omelette, or it can be some cottage cheese, or it can be something high protein basically. The goal is to basically just take out the decision making for you from breakfast and give yourself a head start with your protein intake so that you can really just like take care of yourself throughout the whole day. So while I'm at home, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have cottage cheese with some berries for breakfast every single morning, and that's just going to be my standard breakfast. I know that it's quite similar to what I usually have in the morning for myself, but you know, why fix something that isn't broken, right? Just because I'm traveling, it doesn't mean that I have to eat completely differently and I have to, you know, throw my routines out the window. What that will help me do is it will help me sort of like get that kickstart, get that grounding like meal in the beginning of the day, so that afterwards I can plan a little bit more flexibly. Get about, let's say, 40 to 50 grams of protein in every single morning, and then all I have to do is just plan some repeat snacks that I can grab anywhere, even if I don't have any at home or any with me, that have about like 30 to 40 grams protein. I'm going to be opting for the protein yogurts that you can buy everywhere nowadays because they have like 20 grams of protein. I'll just have 2 as a snack. And then to make my job even easier, I'm going to, in my head, standardize my rest of my meals. So for example, dinner, I'm always going to have some sort of a white fish that has about 40 to 50 grams of protein. And then for lunch, it's going to be a little bit more flexible, but I'm still going to aim to have like 30 to 40 grams of protein. And doing this right now as I'm getting ready, like, it's so simple, And what this is going to help me do is it's going to give me that freedom of like, okay, I've already decided on the structure that I'm going to be following. All I need to do is plug and play now. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm not going to be tracking while I am traveling, but it is going to be consistent. And I'm going to, whenever I'm eating carby foods, just make sure that I'm mindfully eating and I'm only eating until I am full, and I'm not starting my meal with the carbs, but rather with the protein and the veggies, putting down my fork and knife or my utensils between bites, and then literally, you know, taking the next bite only after I've chewed so that I can slow myself down. It's going to work. And with these guidelines, I can basically just help myself chill out a little bit on holiday, relax a little bit, take that food pressure and food focus off of myself, while also staying super consistent. So yeah, now that we have talked about this, I'm going to finish getting ready, getting glammed up just for me, because why not? I love being ready even when I'm home with my parents. Ooh, it's a little bit too much gold in there. And then head out to get groceries before I sit down to work. In the past, I absolutely used to hate when my sister would take my stuff from me. But now that she's moved away, she's moved to Canada, whenever I travel home, I get to take her stuff. And the best thing about it is that she loves oversized things, and normally she would be about small or extra small, but she gets medium stuff, so it fits me perfectly. I mean, look at this. If you're watching this right now, baby, I love you so much, but I'm taking this. This is mine now. Also, look how freaking talented she is. Anyways, time to go out and get some groceries because your girl needs it. Let's just do a quick list. We still have the Canderel that I bought quite a few years ago, so this should all be okay, right? So am I the only one who gets a sore throat after flying every single time? Like, I don't know why I just get a sore throat. It might be because I'm just like it's just very dry air, but I genuinely just cannot fly without getting a sore throat. So I don't know what to do about it. It's really annoying. Also, I'm still puffy from yesterday because I don't know if you knew this, but when you fly, your body actually retains quite a bit of water. So it's really, really important that you don't measure yourself right after getting off a plane for about like 2-3 days. Let your body recover, get back on track with everything, drink your water, sleep as much as you can, and your body's gonna get rid of the puffiness. Going back to your food, we're gonna get cottage cheese, soy milk, single whey, sachets, skyr, low-fat cheese, tomatoes, berries. In case you didn't know, I do not eat meat, so we are not going to be getting that. If I see a little bit of fish, I'm going to get that. So I think that's going to be it. I'm going to go get some food and then basically have breakfast, because right now, yes, it is 8:25, but back in the UK, it's 7:25. So I'm basically just like taking this extra hour of a difference to sort of do life admin, do a little bit of life admin, and then have food at my usual time, which would be around midday, but I'm gonna be eating a little bit earlier because I'm going to the gym and then go and get some work done before I see a friend this evening. Basically, I know that I'm going to have an off-plan meal, technically something that I don't have a lot of control over, so I'm going to try to look up a couple of places where I could go and eat something higher protein. But in case I don't do that, I'm still going to do my best to have my 6 palm-sized portions of protein today and to have my 6 fist-sized portions of veggies, so that I don't have to worry about not hitting my protein, basically, and I can enjoy my meal out. I'm going to eat a tiny little bit less carbs, tiny little bit less fats, snack a tiny little bit less, and then basically that is going to allow me to just, you know, have that extra room. We're thinking ahead. I know that for you it probably feels like no time has passed, like whatsoever, but for me, 45 minutes have passed. So we are back. I got some coffee pods for our coffee machine, some grapes, seedless red grapes. Honestly, I just love produce in Hungary. It just tastes a lot nicer. Some blueberries, although these were very overpriced. Got some lactose-free milk. And then I got the single packet whey protein. I got some purple cabbage, frozen, which needs to go in the freezer right away. The usual, no sugar added turorudi. If you have never been to Hungary, you're probably gonna be like, what the hell is that? It's the best thing, okay? You need to come to Hungary, for sure. High protein, it's kind of like cottage cheese,
kind of like cottage cheese. So it's kind of like high protein, kind of like a creamy cottage cheese, kind of like quark. Then I also got another kind of cottage cheese. So again, Hungary is a little bit special. East Europe is a little bit special. We don't have your usual cottage cheese, okay? We don't have the usual cottage cheese with the balls and then the milky thing. We have a dry cottage cheese, and this one is low-fat cottage cheese. So when I moved to the UK, I actually was like mind blown about like what their cottage cheese is. I was like, I'm not sure about this, but I got this for now. It is going to make an absolutely amazing snack, and also I can just put it on some pasta. Yes, again, East European things. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about, and you're probably gonna be like, oh, what is that? Skyr, to keep things consistent. I got me some Monster. I'm trying to actually cut back down on my caffeine intake because I have been going crazy with that. So, and then some tomatoes because I just love tomatoes. They're the best fruit out there. And yes, tomatoes are a fruit. So I'm going to put all of these away and then have my breakfast, which is probably going to be one of these and a couple of berries so that I can get started with work. Because even though I am at home and I'm traveling, it does not mean that I don't have to work. This is basically what we're having. It's a high protein cottage cheese quark kind of thing. So I might be able to get away by having 2 of these. And then we're going to have some grapes and a little bit of a Monster for some energy because you girls. I don't know why. The clocks went back and then I'm an hour before, like I'm an hour ahead of the UK. And that's basically a 2-hour difference, and it's causing me to really struggle with jet lag, which is weird. But yeah, I'm gonna dig in, have 2 of these actually, not just 1, and get to work. It's lunchtime. I've got 30 minutes and it's lunchtime, and look what Mum made. Mum made some tukkfőzelék, which you probably have no idea what it is. It's basically like a butternut squash stew. And I am just going to bump up the protein with some Vivera kebabs. I'm so excited. I love Hungarian cuisine. It's budget friendly, it's healthy, if you don't add too much oil. But we tend to cook quite healthy at home. So it's basically just butternut squash, and I'm going to plop it. It's like a very thick stew or very thick soup. You just plop it into like a little bowl, and then sometimes you crack an egg on it. You can add a sausage on it, but I don't eat meat, so I'm going to do a Vivera kebab. Very random kind of like combination of flavors, but it is going to taste absolutely ridiculously amazing, and I'm so excited for it. And we're gonna bump up the protein amount by adding a little bit of skyr. Unless you're Hungarian and you know what this is, or you've been to Hungary and you know what this is what we're going to be topping it with. Not too much because it's spicy AF, but oh boy, I've missed this flavor so much. I genuinely feel like I'm like one of the worst vloggers at the moment, but I have finished work. I had quite a few client calls and things to catch up on with my clients. And I'm currently on my way to meet up with one of my friends from high school, and we're gonna grab dinner, which is super exciting. So I'll show you exactly what I eat. I didn't prepare anything, and maybe even after dinner I'm going to have a protein shake depending on how much protein there is in my dinner. We actually ended up coming to one of our places that we used to go to when we were in high school, and also every year since then. We're going to be sharing a half a pizza. I just grabbed an Aperol Spritz, very diet friendly, very cutesy, and we're just going to enjoy it mindfully because you can have pizza and still maintain your results. It is a couple of days later, and I just realized that I forgot to film an outro to this video, so I really hope that you enjoyed. I know that it was kind of hectic, kind of eclectic, and as I was editing it, I was actually thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't post this, but here's the thing. I want to be real with you. I want to basically show you exactly what I do, the good, the bad, the ugly, of how you can actually become that girl version of yourself. It's not going to be pretty all the time, and sometimes you're gonna have to eat random meals, and sometimes you're gonna have to improvise, but that is the beauty of it. You can literally learn, and we live and learn, and I think that is the most important thing. Now, just to sum things up that I have mentioned in the video, whenever I'm traveling, what I like to do, and this time around I deliberately did not prep meals, but what I usually like to do is I like to prepare a couple of things for myself to have while I'm traveling. And if I know, for example, that I'm going to Hungary, I like to pack some fake meats for myself that are high in protein. Also, a couple of things that I absolutely love to do is basically just meal prep a couple of meals. You can actually bring food onto the plane as long as it fits regulations, so like it's not cheese, it's not milk, etc. Because I think some countries are very you know, very strict about that. That's the word. So be careful about what kind of food you bring on the plane with you, but normally speaking, it should be okay for you to bring in your own food. And then during the day, if you cannot track, just focus on eating high protein and minimally processed foods as much as you can. Have lots of veggies, have lots of water, and then once you've landed, create an action plan for yourself. Stick to the basics, standardize everything. If you can, like, the more structure you can have, the more freedom you will have. And I know that it sounds counterintuitive, but if you have that structure around your meals of like, okay, my breakfast is basically going to be the same or very, very similar things, my lunches are going to be the same or very, very similar things, it is going to give you that freedom of like knowing, okay, I'm ticking the boxes that have to be ticked, and I am also actually taking care of myself, and I'm also able to enjoy the foods with, you know, like moderation, instead of telling yourself that you're just going to throw your goals at the window. That was the main reason why I wanted to document this, because I know that it can be quite hectic, it can be quite confusing to eat on the go and to eat, especially when you're traveling. If you have big goals, you know, it doesn't have to mean, just because you're traveling, it doesn't have to mean that you're throwing out your goals out the window. So I really hope that this kind of like put things into perspective for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, by the way, make sure that you click that subscribe button, like this video, share it with a friend, and comment something nice below for the girlies, because let's be real, this channel is for the girlies. And if you are still here and you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you're gonna have the most wonderful week and day ahead, and I love you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.